Okay, so this reading is going to be for Gemini. For the universal cards, we are looking at strength, leadership, mastery, and power. Um, this person is going to be put into a position where they are going to take on a leadership role that is going to require quite a bit of strength from them. In order for them to successfully take on this role, they are going to have to know who they are and what morals and beliefs they choose to stand by without faltering, right? And then with that, they will have power that divine is promising them, and it's going to be well deserved. Here we see the colors of purple and green, just like the last reading with the angel cards. And purple stands for journey from sin to redemption. And then green is prompting emotional balance and well being, growth, nurture, and the heart chakra. So this person could be on an ascension or dealing with their shadow self at the moment. For these cards, we have Four of Raphael. It says, seek out other possibilities, look for the magic in life, be aware of your own emotions. So just because one thing that you truly wanted to do did not pan out doesn't mean that life is over or that you need to feel like a failure. It has happened for a reason, and that is because with divine timing, you clearly have a purpose of leadership in your path. So, you need to go on ahead and be aware of your own emotions. Don't let them get in your way or stop you from moving forward. Then we have Change Your Life with Archangel Chamuel. It says a sudden revelation that offers freedom. Break free from procrastination and embrace the opportunities that change brings. So again, don't be hard on yourself when things don't pan out. It is happening for a reason, but at the same time, this is where the emotions can get in the way. You could get stuck in a funk, a depression, and then procrastination, and you don't move forward. You don't create a momentum for that change to come. With Six of Raphael, it has embrace your inner child, new friends, or rekindle relationships, children, or childhood. There could be a past partner that it is very important for you to analyze the roles that you both played, areas where you faltered, areas where you were wrong, and maybe own up to that, have a conversation, apologize, and maybe also work on communication where you express where you feel they went wrong or they faltered. If you have children, it would be best to do this because of the children. If there's a childhood friend that you fell out with and it has been affecting you for quite some time, those emotions are there for a reason, and maybe you were in the wrong, or maybe you didn't express yourself correctly. Could be time to reach out to them and fix that. With the High Priestess, this is powerful psychic insights, reflection, and meditation that provides valuable information and be at peace. So you are someone who has a knowing within you. Certain situations could come about and you are able to predict how they're going to end, or maybe you foresee them before they come. Either way, this is a gift that you have, and you're being asked by divine to take the time to at least tap into it and get acquainted with it and start using it. With the past life cards, we have Greco-Roman, we have trust and faith, we have ships, Celtic, and finances. You could have been someone that was a very religious person in your past life, but also a leader. Maybe you were someone who was in charge, ship captain, right? Um, or maybe you were in charge of trades or goods or whatever. And that was a big flow of your finances. This could be what divine is asking you to do, is get back in touch with your spirituality so that you can tap into this past life abundance that you once had and bring it forward to this life. Um, for the Celtic astrology oracle cards, you drew the elder or the seeker. And with that, it says, at the time of your birth, the light of the sun was fast and fleeting, lending a sense of urgency. This is seemingly contradicted by a tendency to be withdrawn, thoughtful, and philosophical. The elder-born complex beings drawn to the darkness, yet called by the light. Choose wise companions who can offer insights and assurance when the madness creeps too close. So this is saying that you're somebody who can be in a room with both light and dark people. You could probably relate to both sides. But as far as the work that you're going to be called to do is take leadership and having to lead the dark into the light. So you'll be dealing with a lot of dark people in your business career and in your life altogether. Excuse me. And so you need to make sure that the partner you choose is going to be one that can help you purge that darkness, purge that load, that stress, and bring you back into the light at the end of the day. With your Oracle of Ascendance, let's see. I do not have these ones memorized, so bear with me 1 second. We have Element of Air. Okay, for Element of Air, it is in the reverse. So it says, when inverted, an overabundance of caution and awareness is most evident. You overthink and overanalyze rather than logically make a decision and proceed. There leads to stagnation. So you're being asked to lean more on your intuition, your first feeling, and not dive so much into the what ifs or what can, or if I make this choice. You need to just go with your gut. Your gut is going to be your best friend. Then we have Scorpio. And Scorpio says, when Scorpio appears, your skills of self will are being called upon to get through a difficult situation. You're being asked to draw upon your inner strength and passion to overcome the situation or event before you. Remember that you have the power to bring anything into creation through your drive and passion. So, let's just say you're in a situation where your relationship is really starting to drain you. This would be saying that you need to uh, dive into realizing how much self determination and willpower that you have, and your skill set for getting through things, and focus on that aspect of yourself instead of dwelling on the negativity or the emotional part of the situation. If it's with work and work's not going so well or it's getting too stressful, you need to focus on the skill set that you bring into work, your self drive and willpower that got you to that job at that position, and how you can better yourself and keep going from there. With Daiko Mayo, we are looking at mm, um, Daikomayo means roughly great being of the universe, shine on me. It can also mean great shining light. It embraces the idea that the physical body was constructed as a manifestation of the spiritual body. This also coordinates to belief that illness within the physical body begins as an illness of the spirit. Daikomayo cleanses the bodies and heals the spirit, providing wholeness when it appears in your reading. It asks you to ponder on your life, your goals, your desires, in order to guide you in a loving, compassionate, and abundant way. Cleanse your life of unnecessary energies in the message here. So, you could be somebody who stresses a lot. You possibly could get stomach aches, headaches, whatever it is that you physically feel when you're under pressure or drained, stressed, whatever. Uh, it's letting you know that you're susceptible to manifesting an illness within your body. So it's very important that you stay focused on what it is you want out of life, where you're going, and how you're going to get there, and to consistently revisit the people in your life, what they bring you. Do they uplift you? Do they bring you down? And remove them. Anybody or anything that is going to bring obstacles, hesitation, doubt, chaos to your life, you need to remove them, because all that does is add more seasoning to the entire dish of illness. Um, and that, in the end, is what you're trying to avoid, right? So let's say your past life, you're Greco-Roman, who's a sea captain or in charge of goods, transporting goods or whatever. You could have possibly have gotten severely ill, ending your reign of leadership early. This is what the divine is trying to tell you, is that you need to trust your instinct, your intuition, stop worrying past that point, making things into a big stress ball and causing the illness to manifest. Same thing with the people around you. If they do that, you need to let them go, because it is in your calling to be this leader and hold this power. So it does no good for you to get ill and have to forfeit your birthright. The moon in reverse. Moon in reverse says, look again to balance. The inverse meaning of the moon and the sun is to look at the non-chaotic balance between the two. Working together, they are invincible and inseparable. Overbalanced chaos results. So the sun card is not out here, right? And your element of air is telling you that you worry too much. So you don't have enough balance of light and dark in your life, whether that means enough people who hold light to bring you out of your dark responsibilities throughout the day with work. Then you need to go find those people and bring them into your life. If you don't have enough activities after, weeks worth of stress or whatever, if you're not bringing no activities that help you release that, to bring light into your body, then that is something you need to go do. A lot of your time is going to be spent on evaluating who you are, where you're trying to go, who's in your life, what role do they play, and are they healthy or toxic? If they are not down for your cause, then you don't need to deal with them. Here it says New Mexico. You could either be from New Mexico or about to take a trip to New Mexico or get a job offer from New Mexico. And then we have sacrifice for the better. I'm going to say you're going to be offered something that is going to ask you to go to New Mexico or a surrounding area of New Mexico. The sacrifice for the better is this might not be something that you would normally say yes to, just because it's going to require you to pack up and move and leave what you know. But Divine is saying that this is something you need to do. It's going to be a sacrifice that is going to elevate you and bring you that balance of light and dark. So with this deck, I'm going to go on ahead and ask Spirit to lay out your current situation. This card's act stiff. Stiff and sticky. Somebody in your life could be stiff and sticky. Stiff, not really wanting to be bendable or go with the flow, and sticky, like clingy to you. Don't let you do anything without them. Alright, Spirit, can you please let us see what it is Gemini is going through right now? Okay, we have the High Priestess. the Two of Cups. The Hierophant in reverse and the Queen of Cups. You could be a very smart and successful woman who is lesbian or bisexual, and your family could be very religious and very much opposed to it, to the point they possibly have made you feel like God doesn't accept you, and your mother figure could have turned her back on you. You could have known that you were lesbian since a very young age. You could be somebody who is very comfortable with their body. You may not have a problem walking around naked, maybe around your own home or around close friends. And you also could be very natural, like maybe you don't shave. You wear minimal clothing, but your soul tries as much as possible to be fair and equal, right? Non-judgmental. And here you see they're both wearing blue, right? Your mother could have been opposed to that side of you as well, so much so that you could have found yourself in situations where you were either being punished, outcasted, or had her setting up scenarios where you were being shunned or felt backstabbed by friends and family. She also could have made you feel like you were not going to be somebody who had opportunities or any type of abundance, weren't going to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor, type of thing. And it could have been based off of how you dressed or looked. I get a feeling that you're not somebody who dresses normal. So I get the picture of like Rocky Horror film. So you could be someone that like wears a tutu with striped stockings and, you know, no hair, like bald head type of thing, like, and then you go work at a office, you know, where you're supposed to be dressed in business attire, but what your mother has failed to see is that your personality or the way that you communicate with people, you've been able to take control of situations and make them see past the physical look, right? So you may have been butting heads with your mother figure growing up your entire life, where it made you determined to show her that you're going to take these opportunities and force them into your garden, whether they fit in there or not. You're gonna make them. You're gonna collect them. You're gonna make them go there. Um, with the devil in reverse, your mother could have also implanted in your head thoughts of, you know, it's satanic, it's demonic, or you belong to the devil because you're gay, or because you're promiscuous, or you perceive to be promiscuous with the way you dress. Um, Probably could have made you feel like you were going to be an addict as well. With these in reverse, it shows that you have been able to persevere through these stereotypes. You may have actually become the stereotype, right? And lived it for a minute, but you've always been able to come out of it. What position is Gemini in right now? So you feel, in a sense, that this box that your mom has put you in is a form of spell work, and technically, yes, it is. And right now, because you've been able to persevere past these stereotypes, regardless if you lived them for a period of time, you may have possibly disappeared for a while, and when you've come back, it's like you packed your garden up. The things that are still growing, you put them in planters pots, right? You went and got your home, filled your home up with everything, waiting to waiting to be done growing or whatever. You're waiting for your fruits to be ready to be picked and stuff. And pretty much you're taking the magician work out of her and proving her to be weak, proving her to be wrong, showing her that the strength you have is much stronger than what she is. The power you hold is a lot more abundant and stronger than herself. And in fact, what you're doing is going to it's going to cause her mental health to decline. She's not going to understand what is happening because she's had it set in her mind for so long that her kids were failures and she was going to be the last one to be seen as successful. Spirit, can you please show us what the Gemini and the mother's relationship was in prior years? And that's too many. Hmm. Um, with this first row, Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups, Two of Cups, Queen of Cups, and then Nine of Pentacles. So you could have been someone who had a knowing at an early age, a wisdom, third eye opening at an early age. With this web around her head here, that shows that this is something that runs in your family. This wisdom, this ability to foresee. And you could have had it tapped in too early because of some type of trauma that happened at an early age, possibly a sexual trauma or an extreme emotional loss that happened. With the Ace of Cups, it shows you've always been somebody who led from the heart, okay? You were not a hateful child or teenager. You were not vengeful. You were not jealous. You weren't deceitful. You weren't bad. You held a lot of love towards people. Very non-judgmental to people, right? Two of Cups, you have always longed for a relationship. And because you are coming across as somebody who's into the same sex, I'm going to guess that in the beginning, it may have been for a male, but because of this bottom row here that I'll get to, this could be the reason why you are now into females. With the Queen of Cups, you've always been a free spirit, hippie child, somebody who was well aware of realms outside of your own. Somebody, you could have possibly been around older people growing up who supported or contributed to maybe hallucinogenics, which opened your third eye possibly, or opened up your belief into this extra realm existence, right? Here, the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. You look at your mother as non-attentive, always busy, and really about the money. Because it is in reverse, you possibly look at her as more of doing darker things for money. With the Seven of Swords, there is an aspect of you that is used to looking at men running away. Men possibly coming around that have dark thoughts, mental illnesses, secrets, right? And you don't see the trail of this darkness until it's too late. Here with the King of Swords, this is either a father figure or an older brother. This is somebody who traveled a lot or just maybe wasn't in the home, more so out in nature. Maybe on drugs, I don't know. But this is also a figure that you get your free spirit and your in tune with divine side from. The Six of Cups could also be a brother figure. This is a brother who has inner child wounds. So I would say that you definitely had an absent father and an absent mother. This brother figure is somebody who prefers to invest relationships in with animals over human beings. This is probably a brother that has never been married and won't ever get married. This Page of Cups is another brother. This brother probably has had one true love in his life that severely broke his heart. So his thought is love exists when pigs fly, right? Now he's probably become somebody who is self-consumed and focused on living a certain lifestyle and about money. Here it shows the Eight of Cups. You're walking away from the cups. So you're walking away from the lifestyle. You're walking away from the stereotype. You're walking away from the expectation of what the family wanted for your life. The silver plate and spoon idea, right? And you're on this self-discovery mission, knowing that you're gonna make it and you're gonna survive. Here with the Nine of Wands, this shows that your family has done everything and anything they could possibly do to stop this journey of yours from being successful. And because of that, it led you into the Lovers in reverse. So, there is probably one man in your life that you fell in love with that had a very dark secret that possibly makes you ashamed to have even had that relationship with that person. He could have done something to you or hid something from you that could have gotten you in trouble, or society would have shunned you from altogether. Spirit, can you give me information on the mother and the father of the Gemini? Their life. Okay, you feel that prior to possibly a split between your parents, you looked at your mother with strength. She wasn't very nurturing, um, not very loving, but she may have been active with you, and um, she showed you how a strong woman uh, is, right? So that much you give her. You resent her because there is a female around your age that was brought into your life during the split of your parents here. And this female brought into your life is similar in spirit and soul as you. You were not looked at with love or admiration or as being successful or something to brag about. And you were forced to put your head in the books, uh, kind of stay to yourself out of sight, um, and perform with academics, right? While this female figure, which could be a stepsister, was allowed to be who and what she wanted. You feel that pitted you guys against each other, even though you guys were technically almost exactly alike. Um, Here it shows that your mother finding this new partner still somewhat tried to stay cordial with your original father figure, but you still feel that you had to um, mourn the relationship as if it was a death. What was his mother figure's life like in her younger days for this Gemini? Mm. This mother figure's parent could have been a hardworking parent who was dealing with a partner who had a third party relationship. This parent took it as a complete backstab, and the mental health declined of this parent, leaving the kids that this grandparent of the Gemini had feeling left out in the cold. Um, this parent of the Gemini possibly grew up never feeling good enough. Um, it's almost like you guys are mirroring each other's feelings because you had to mourn the separation of your parents, right? and you were being like, that is not good enough, gave the stereotype of not gonna succeed. But here you see your parent looking in the mirror at themselves, asking, wondering, why wasn't I good enough? Why didn't they want me, or he want me, or whatever? Here it shows a mother working, trying to multitask. So there could have been several kids coming from this grandmother. And then here you have the Knight of Pentacles showing that the relationships to come were not good, not successful. This grandmother could have constantly been running towards men and always found herself in third party situations with each relationship. So I'm going to guess that the children did not get the mother's time and attention that they should have, feeling neglected just as you did. Alright, I'm going to draw on what's to come. Alright, Spirit, can you please show me what is going to come for this Gemini? What is coming in the future for this Gemini? Wow. Alright, so for this Gemini, you're looking at situations where you dealt with ruthless, violent, intimidation, irrational, and cold male figures. You had an imbalance of excessive, reckless, and hastiness that came from you because of how you were being treated. There was a deception about you, a misunderstanding, and that was because of the fear and anxiety and lack of clarity that you had and were portraying to people. You also dealt with workaholic, wasteful, risky investments, and irresponsible partners that you chose, right? And this is because this is what your parental figures were. You were choosing what you knew. Here we have choices, right? These are the choices of partners that you made, and it was due to the illusion of the family that you grew up with. You had a wishful thinking of what you wanted, but you didn't realize that the family generations prior to you were the ones that were toxic, that you weren't toxic, so you didn't think you could get it. They nearly completed your destiny of putting you on the path of homelessness, poverty, ingrate, unintelligent, you know, belonging to the system type of thing. So struggles were always going to be a part of your path. Burning yourself out was always going to be a part of your path. There were secrets, confusion, and blocked intuition that was done to you, and it was due to hidden motives behind this family. This gave you a sense of despair, a negativity, a lack of faith in yourself, and hopelessness. So this gave you bouts of depression and lack of faith in yourself. This is really sad. This led to you becoming pregnant early on, an early mother. You actually were a nurturing mother, right? But they took that from you. They created such a struggle and a hardship for you, and outcasted you, isolated you and your resources, that it forced you to abandon your child. This put you in an emotional trap, feeling imprisoned and paralyzed by fear. This is when the mother figure came in, forceful, vicious, really, really emphasizing you were powerless and ineffective at that point, and calling you a weak leader, calling you a weak mother. You outsmarted this parental figure. You were able to get them to confess the slander about you and their coward ways, and confess how they were blackmailing you. And because you did that, this mother did another move. When getting them to confess the slander and the blackmail towards you, there was another situation that arose against you that she really took full force and really made it more people involved than should have. This really brought you into your weakness and imbalance and discord to where you were now mentally in a position to be easily manipulated by anyone at this point. Because she brought you all the way down to feeling worthless, not worthy of receiving any type of love from anyone, that when you did get it, you became extremely generous and giving freely of anything. That could be sex, money, housing, car, whatever. And that, in a sense, puts you in a realm where you're dealing with people that were just taking from you and not giving back, using you till there was nothing left, literally till everything was taken. You had to grow up so fast, right? That when everything was taken, you got put in this position where you were now mentally stuck in the past. You kept going backwards, saying, well, I had this then, I had this back then, I was independent back then, which drilled in even further your worthlessness. There was some delayed news that recently came to you. You came out curious, asking about this news, but you came guarded in case this news was another tactic on your life, right? You came in quick witty though and chatty because you've been digging, you've been doing some homework. What you found out was there is inheritance of family wealth that was waiting for you. So right now, you're making your way to having your debut. This wealth, this family inheritance made its way to you. And because of everything you went through, you knew exactly how you were going to spend the money and where you were going to put it. You got rid of the people in your life that you didn't need or that weren't doing you justice. And you revamped yourself. So I am getting the feeling that maybe one or two people in your family know and have seen the new you, but you're getting ready to debut yourself. It says if you realize you're losing everyone in your life, don't panic. The Most High will bring in the next level of people. It says, I couldn't give you the best, but I sure tried. It could be you speaking to your kids. This says, be careful trying to know all of their secrets. Don't open up Pandora's box. They finally have it locked up. So you could still be investigating what's going on. You may now have become an introvert. This is saying you need patience. Understand that God is going to handle the situation. You could be looking for some type of revenge now that you're ready to make your debut. It says focus on work and How about you don't limit your self-worth and stick to the rules that you set for yourself? Angel number 2020. Have compassion. Your beliefs and assumptions are validated. Use your gifts and your strengths so you and the world can benefit them. So you need to come into your leadership. Maybe lead the people that are going through what you went through. Show them how to come out of it. Angel number 111. Time to manifest and set intentions on what you want to come. Says, I don't keep people long term because I'm afraid of commitment. And that's from the damage that's been done to you before. You do not want, you don't want to keep people that are toxic to you, but you don't want a revolving door of people either. Credit. It says, universe wants to give you credit, so you need to give yourself some. You're doing a good job at this whole life on earth living thing. Angel number 66, commitment, living with honesty and light every day, cultivating your powerful and meaningful life. Blockage from past trauma. Blockage, it's control, not love. So, make sure you realize that when somebody's controlling you, even though they do say they love you. Blockage, pent up anger. That could be something that you need to work through. Shock. Sudden information leaving you unsure or in disbelief. Did you forget you already had a thought on it? So there's something that you thought, you contemplated, but you shook it off, and you could just now be realizing that it was real. Self-sabotage. Everything you have been failing at is because you told yourself you aren't good enough or deserving, or why me. Mine says you need to change that. And timing, March 17th or March 1st through the 7th or March 8th. Those are the dates that you'll need to watch for your next, either next mission or next information that you're about to come across that you've been looking for. Let's do some ancestor cards and then we'll do confirmation and be done. Alright, ancestors for Gemini, female Gemini. What do we got? Okay, you're an Arcana. Because of the change you did. So, you're the embodiment of change. You must have really went to the darkest depths and came back a whole brand new person. Mindset, look, everything. Should be proud of yourself on that. Many people can do that. It says it's time to shine. They have an expectation of what you're going to be or who you are. but you've disconnected from the tribe. So realize when you disconnected from the tribe, that's when you started to shine. So just because you're coming back around to make your debut, because of this inheritance or whatever it is, moving back into town, don't just think it's all cakes and pies with the family. Privilege. So again, you're privileged, you're spiritually privileged, you're protected. This is why you get this transformation. You are going to be in the limelight when you do this debut, and you need to make sure that when this happens, you don't let people and things get attached to you, bring you down, or distract you. It says do nothing, okay? It's very important that you do nothing. Do not react to these people. Do not let them get you out of your character. Do not let them bring out any type of anger. That's the satisfaction they want. You need to do nothing. Stand poised. Stand stoic. Stand strong. You did all the work. You didn't come back to make your debut to not be standing strong. Academic, purpose, and conscientious. So you're not coming back stupid. You did your homework. You know what you're talking about. You did the work. You did the change. You're living the change, okay? You know what your purpose in life is now. You're conscientious of the people and the things around you, the situations that can arise. You're very much well aware. You're not the child living in the big bad world that your mother failed to protect you from. Appearance. You ready? You're making your debut. I had goosebumps. And optimism. This is cool. This is funny. Very exciting. Hard work. Nice job. Well, if I knew you, I'd give you a high five. That's very cool. Alright. Let's do confirmation cards. These are going to be cards that you think, say, joke about, talked about. Just a little bit more clarity so you know that this is your reading, even though that was pretty specific. Not many people get to make a debut. Dark Vader, Gandhi, Object Permanent, Soft Kissy, Harry Potter Erotica, PTSD, Incest, Dying, and Self-Loathing, Braiding 3 penises into a Twizzler. That so sounds like something Gemini would say. Alright, and that is it for you. So that's exciting, Gemini. Very, very exciting. Don't let nobody bring down your happiness for yourself. Okay? Don't let them disrupt your strength and your peace. And know that there is your purpose, and you're just coming back to gain what is rightfully yours, and you are not going to be letting them in to disrupt anything that you have had to work for yourself. And good luck for your future.